again, in a business situation, if you're meeting somebody important, please go through his LinkedIn profile, right? Um, and you probably want to type his name out on Google and see if there's any other news on that person, especially if you're meeting a senior person, an important stakeholder in a company, right? Now, why should you um, go through his LinkedIn profile? Because again, making that small talk and even deeper talk for that matter becomes much easier for you. Because in today's world, when you meet somebody, you can, as a matter of fact, it's a sign of respect to tell somebody that, sir, I was just going through your LinkedIn profile. He'll be very happy that you took the effort to go through his profile, right? So he'll be very happy because it's an open profile more often than not. So he says, "Sir, I was going through your profile and I read that you used to work with Yes Bank." And he'll say, "Yeah, I worked there for 3 years." He say, "Yeah, Yes Bank is a big client of ours. We've done a lot of work with Yes Bank." And he's like, "Oh yeah, okay. Who do you deal with then?" We say, "Oh, the person, the learning and development team used to be this guy called XYZ." He'll be like, "Oh yeah, I know that guy quite well. I've worked with him." I say, "Yeah, we have a long standing relationship with them, and we've done this work with them, and that work with them, and this work with them." Be like, "Oh, okay, that's good. I must check on them," right? So immediately you've built a rapport with that person because you formed or found the common ground that you were looking for. You found that common ground. Why do you find it? Because you went through his profile and you identified those areas that were common. Now, even if you didn't have, hypothetically, that common ground through a Yes Bank being a client, let's assume that it was another kind of client in the banking sector, right? That he had worked with previously. That is probably not our client. Let's assume it's Bandhan Bank, and that we haven't worked with Bandhan Bank, right? As a company. So you can say, "Oh, you come from a banking background." He say, "Yeah, I come from a banking." That's great. We work with almost 8 of the top 10 banks in India, and these are all the banks that, "Oh, okay." So then that again becomes some common ground. You may not have a client in common that he's worked for, but it could be the banking industry. So when you go through a person's LinkedIn profile, it becomes much more easier for you to make conversation with that person because you have some background of it. It could be around his work experience, the nature of his work, the place where he comes from, the colleges that he went to, his what education he's done, tons of stuff, right? So in business environments, um, make sure that you go through industry news, make sure that you go through company news, right? Especially if you're going to meet somebody from a fairly large company, type their name out, see what's happening with that company. Maybe their stock has gone through the roof, right? That's a great conversation to have with somebody, that your company is doing well, right? So that could again be a great conversational starter. And look up the person on LinkedIn. That is a great conversational starter. I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, by just doing this, you will get far better at making conversation in a business setting than anything else, right?